Welcome to Reality Bites Back, bringing you the latest breaking news updates. Today, we dive into the headlines and uncover the truth behind the story. Did 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after, Sophie Sierra go back to London after her split with Rob Warren on season 8, or is she still living in America? Sophie is a 25-year-old British woman who married the 32-year-old Rob on 90 DF season 10. Sophie knew that Rob had online cheated on her when they were dating, but still came to the U.S. on a K-1 visa. The cheating scandal continued to wreak havoc in the couple's lives even after they married. Sophie eventually decided to move out of Rob's apartment with the question of where she would go next. Sophie is a fashion model and content creator from London, England. However, Sophie wasn't raised in the UK as revealed by her during the 90 Day Fiancé season 10 premiere. Sophie said one of the perks of her job was that she didn't have to stay in one place. She could go wherever and still make a living by creating social media content. Sophie's family is wealthy. She didn't know how, but her granddad made a lot of money. Sophie said it was why she'd always lived in nice houses and went to private schools, traveled a lot of places. Reality TV is more popular than ever. With so many to choose from, here are some of the best reality TV shows to stream or watch right now. Sophie spoke about the traumatic experiences she had in life while growing up. She's mixed race. Her dad was black and her mom was white. Sophie grew up in Spain where there weren't any black people, so Sophie was the only mixed-race kid or black kid in the whole school. Sophie was bullied as a child. She didn't have any friends and struggled to fit in. As she grew up, Sophie started to go out and party. She was clubbing at the age of 12. She said that if someone looked old enough in Europe, they could go to the clubs. Sophie thinks that the difficult things she had to go through in her childhood shaped her into the person she is today and also led her to the love of her life, Rob. Sophie used to follow quite a lot of Instagram pages that featured cute, mixed-race men. She saw Rob's profile on the page. He was the only person she followed from the page because she thought he was so cute. Sophie was just one of the women who'd reached out to Rob since he was a model, but he was taken aback by how attractive she was. Rob had messaged her saying, "If I had a girl like you, I could stop looking." Sophie and Rob texted back and forth, after which he FaceTimed her to see if she was real and not a catfish. That FaceTime lasted for 8 hours. Sophie realized how, despite coming from different backgrounds, they'd had similar background experiences. They kept talking online for 6 months until Sophie came to Los Angeles to meet Rob in person. They went from being strangers to living together for 2 months. Sophie also mentioned that they lived together in Mexico for a while until she went to the UK and waited for her K-1 visa to be approved. Rob's house didn't have a bathroom. Rob lived in California with his dog in a small apartment. Rob was worried because in the past, Sophie had never even had to pay rent for the places she'd lived in and was used to having maids. She had her spoiled rich girl tendencies. Rob wanted to bring Sophie down to earth. He knew being with him was not going to be a cakewalk for Sophie. He was right, since Sophie was upset with Rob's house not having a bathroom inside it. It appeared to be a shared space and Sophie had to walk through the courtyard and access the toilet. 90 Day Fiancé star Sophie Sierra's mom was arrested after sharing proof of Rob Warren misbehaving with her daughter. Are Rob and Sophie still together? Sophie tried to view this as a temporary setup until they got a normal, proper space. Sophie felt like the neighborhood wasn't safe. When Rob took Sophie to Venice Beach, she suggested they could live by the pier. She thought they'd be happier if they lived by the beach because they were very happy the whole time when they lived together in Mexico. Rob asked Sophie how much money she said she had saved. She reminded him she couldn't work on a K-1 visa. Rob had suggested she ask her family for financial help. Sophie had been independent since she was 16, 17 years old. Sophie and Rob didn't stay together in California for long. They married in 2022 in a dreamy beach wedding ceremony and soon decided to move. Sophie, Rob, and his dog Rome all moved to Austin, Texas. They also expanded their family a bit, and Rob also got 6 new pet tarantulas. Unfortunately, their fights continued just a few months after they moved. Sophie went through Rob's phone and discovered it wasn't just one woman he'd been talking to. Sophie had thought moving to Austin was going to be a far,